The Great Western Railway was a British railway company which linked London with the west and southwest of England. It was founded in 1833 and received its Act of Parliament on the 31st of August 1835. The GWR ran its first trains in 1838. The engineer of the GWR at this time was Isambard Kingdom Brunel, who built the railway at an unusual 7-foot gauge. This was later changed to 7 1/4. His creation wouldn't last, as the rise in standard gauge lines around the country led to the demise of the broad gauge in 1892. The locos of the GWR, most of which were outshopped at Swindon Works, were turned out in a Brunswick green livery, whilst its coaching stock were painted in chocolate and cream livery. Its goods stock was originally red, but this soon changed to grey. The Great Western Railway had many different types of locos on its books over the years, ranging from the mascots of the GWR, the Great Western Pannier tanks, to the Top Link Express locos, such as the Castles and the Kings. Freight was handled by locos such as the 2800 and the Dean's Goods. Mixed traffic duties were set for the Halls and the Granges, and some other locos too. They even trialled out some gas turbine locos, one of which still survives. The GWR operated many different types of train, ranging from passenger trains to freight trains. They were, however, famous for their long-distance express trains to the coast, with famous names like the Cheltenham Spa Express and the Cornish Riviera Express. The GWR also ran many suburban trains, which were mostly handled by their large prairies, and rural services, which were either handled by rail motors or auto trains. The GWR's route started at Paddington and also linked the railway to Penzance and even parts of Wales. It also included a lot of branch lines, including the Reading to Basingstoke line. The GWR's legacy lives on really well in preservation, with lots of GWR locos preserved on many heritage lines and railway centres, many of which are also Great Western. These include Didcot Railway Centre, which was mentioned many times in this video, South Devon, Severn Valley, etc, etc. And it's not just heritage lines, even some main line stations have still got the Great Western touch, including the distinctive Great Western bench, the classic chocolate and cream colours over the stations, etc. Another thing the Great Western, you could say, were well known for was the supposed speed record done by City of Truro in 1904. Whether this was true or not, we may never know. I for one, however, believe it was true. Even though the Great Western Railway no longer exists, there is a modern train operator that goes by the same name, which still operates over the Great Western Main Line. May the Great Western Railway spirit live on for 185 years more.